For as long as I could remember, my parents treated me more like a servant than their daughter. Chores, errands, cleaning, cooking, it was never-ending. They never asked if I was tired or stressed. They just expected everything to be done perfectly, on time, without complaint. I spent my teenage years scrubbing floors, folding laundry, and running errands while my parents hosted fancy gatherings, trying to impress people they barely knew. I became invisible, a background fixture in my own home. One day, they announced they were hosting a dinner for a visiting CEO. "Make sure everything is perfect," my mother said, eyes flashing. "This could make or break our reputation." I nodded silently, already knowing I would be working long hours preparing for their important guest. I spent the entire day cooking, cleaning, polishing silverware, and arranging flowers. By the time the guests arrived, I was exhausted, my hands sore and my back aching. My parents barely glanced my way, too busy fawning over the CEO. When the CEO arrived, my parents rushed to greet him. I stayed in the background, quietly tidying up any last-minute messes. I didn't expect to be noticed. After all, my parents had never acknowledged me as anything more than help. But then something surprising happened. As I brought a tray of appetizers to the CEO, he looked up and smiled. "Thank you," he said. "You're really in charge here, aren't you?" I froze. "Oh well, I handle most of the preparations," I replied cautiously. My parents shot me a glare, clearly embarrassed that I was speaking to their guest directly. The CEO laughed, a warm, genuine sound. "I can tell," he said. "You've got everything running smoothly. Honestly, I would hire someone like you in a heartbeat. You're the real boss here." My parents' faces turned red. For the first time, I felt seen, respected, and recognized for my hard work. The CEO didn't care about my parents' social status or fancy introductions. He saw me, my competence, and my leadership. Throughout dinner, he kept complimenting me, asking about my work, my methods, and how I organized everything. Guests who had previously ignored me started noticing, whispering about how capable I was. My parents tried to regain control, subtly directing attention back to themselves, but the CEO kept looking at me, asking my opinions. I realized that no amount of fancy titles or social connections could compete with actual skill and dedication. By the end of the evening, the CEO shook my hand warmly. "I hope you know how impressive you are," he said. "If you ever want a professional recommendation, count on me." I left the dinner that night feeling a surge of pride. For once, I wasn't invisible. I wasn't just the daughter doing endless chores. I had proven my worth, and someone respected me for it, genuinely. My parents didn't know how to react. Their attempts at control and superiority had been undermined by the very person they hoped to impress. For the first time, I felt a sense of power and independence in my own home. That night, as I finally relaxed, I realized something important. Respect isn't given automatically, and it isn't always earned through social standing. It's earned through competence, integrity, and confidence. And that night I had all three.